All right. Well, good morning, good morning, good morning if you are in the United States and not on the East Coast. Good afternoon if you're on the East Coast, and good evening if you are in the UK, France, or other places. I do want to welcome you guys. It could be morning, it could be day, it could be evening, all based on your time zone or whether you're watching this live or on the replay. But we do want to welcome you guys to our training call today. We have a very powerful training call. Got some special guests coming on, Mr. Ryan Vanderpool. I got a special video that I recorded with Darryl Roberts at the home office. I'm hoping to get to and show you guys as well. By the way, I am wearing my Chicago Bears Brian Urlacher jersey for a reason. It is not only draft day, draft weekend here in the United States for the National Football League, but we're going to do kind of a special training, kind of a deep dive. Because obviously, we're watching these kids get drafted and people think, my gosh, these guys, man, they're so lucky they get to play in the NFL. And we're going to talk about just how lucky these kids are. And so we're going to kind of go through some actual numbers and some things like, wow, I never really quite thought of it that way. But as we did, as we begin our training, a couple things. Number one, it is May 1. It is the beginning of a brand new month. And anytime you're at the beginning of a brand new month, it's always a reminder. So many people, they think about New Year's resolutions. They wait till January 1 as though there's this magical moment in time. Well, you want to renew your New Year's resolutions, renew your goals, renew your purpose, renew everything, at the beginning of every day, ideally, the beginning of every week, even better, but certainly the beginning of every month. And so it's a new month. So, what happened in January, February, March, and April, you want to examine what happened, right? I mean, how have I done? I mean, what were the things I thought about doing when we hit 2021? Happy New Year, and here's all the goals and resolutions, right? What were those things that I was thinking about doing? Have I done them? I mean, how have I done? So you want to, a little introspection. And what do I want to, what kind of course adjustments do I want to make, moving forward? Maybe you're off track. Maybe you're on track. I mean, maybe, hey, that a boy, keep doing what you're doing. And maybe you're like, oh man, I got to get back on track. I got to get back with this, right? Well, it's the beginning of a brand new month. It's Saturday, so I want to encourage you guys, because it happens to be May 1 exactly today, to, spend some time. And this should be a constant thing that you do over and over and over and over again. You never can get away from the fundamentals. I mean, a basketball team never quits shooting free throws. Like, no, I've already done free throws, Todd. I don't have to mean, no. I mean, Michael Jordan kept shooting free throws, right? I mean, you just get LeBron James keep shooting free throws. You have to go back to the basics. Am I doing my, am I flicking my wrist? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? The layups. You never get away from the fundamentals. And to do a football analogy, it was Vince Lombardi. They won the Super Bowl and they started the next season. He said, gentlemen, this is a football. I mean, right back to the basics. Teams win and lose based on doing those small, little, simple things that appear to make no difference at all, but repeated over time make all the difference in the world. I mean, that's what success is. Failure is a few small errors in judgment repeated over time, right? It's no different than the apple a day, right? We all heard that one, an apple a day, keep the doctor away, versus the guy that thought it was a Hershey bar a day, right? It is not Hershey bar. If you're eating apples every day and I'm eating Hershey bars every day, you're making a small discipline, right? Every day, repeated over time, right? Makes all the difference in the world 10, 20 years from now. I eat a Hershey bar every day, repeated over time. It ain't going to take 10 years, within, a couple of years, a few years, we're going to see that neglect begin to show up, my waistline and a lot of other things that can happen from there, blood sugar issues and blood pressure issues, et cetera, et cetera. But that's all success is. And so I'm using a health analogy. The same simple thing applies to business. And one of those things is constantly renewing your goals, constantly renewing your why, renewing your purpose. I mean, you're constantly, reading your affirmations, writing down what it is you want to achieve, writing down a plan to achieve it, writing down and then taking the steps to achieve it. And so often people don't take the steps because of fear, fear of what people think, fear of this, fear of that. They have all these fears that hold you back. In fact, I remind you, some of you have been on my training, you've heard this before, but I mean, the number one commandment in the Bible is not do not sin. That's not the number one commandment. In fact, it only says that a few times. Instead, the number one commandment in the Bible is fear not, right? In the Bible, in fact, anyone that's ever done any Bible stuff, in fact, we're going to have Pastor Mel Keys hosting tomorrow night, Sunday night. He's going to be hosting the fireside chat tomorrow night. But, Pastor Mel Keys, right? I mean, in the Bible, any pastor, anyone that does any kind of a Bible study can tell you that if you see something repeated more than once, if you see something repeated twice, they call that double confirmation, right? That means the Lord meant that, right? That means you better be writing that stuff down, baby. It means you don't want to go anywhere near that, right? These are things to adhere to. They didn't say it once, they said it twice. Well, then what do you think it means when he said fear not 365 different times? Isn't that ironic? Once for every day, 365 different times. It says fear not. Guess what holds most people back? Fear. Fear of this, fear of that, fear of what people think. And this whole thing in life is kind of set up about faith versus fear. It's really kind of comes down to that. And a lot of times, if you have fear, it's because your fear was greater than your faith. Your fear of what, all this other stuff. And the strange thing is that you're going to find out that it doesn't seem to matter what you do. People are going to find a reason to criticize. People are going to, they're going to find a reason to do this. And understand that they never built a statue for a critic. You can travel the entire country. You can travel the entire world, and there's not one statue. Here he is, or here she is, the greatest critic ever. The world has plenty of people that want to be naysayers. Plenty of people want to be critics. Plenty of people that want to tear you down. Plenty of people want to put you down or be negative, all that kind of stuff, right? And if you want to be the exception, be that person that's out there that, man, I'm building people up, man. I'm a healer. I'm bringing, words of encouragement, words that are uplifting. I'm doing these kinds of things, right? Well, understand that, the people out there, nip. In fact, one of my favorite passages in the Bible, it talks about, and Jesus said, and I quote, "We played wedding songs, you did not dance. We played funeral songs, and you did not mourn. For John the Baptist came neither drinking nor eating, and you called him a madman. And the Son of Man came drinking and eating, and you called him a drunkard and a glutton." So it didn't matter what you did. They were all just going to sit around and criticize. And again, that's just what average people do. But understand that, dogs don't bark at parked cars. So if you're out there moving, you're going to have the dogs barking, right? But that means you're on the move. That means you're going places. And there's this kind of psychological thing that'll happen as you start to have some success. You kind of hear some of the stuff, some of people nip in and making little comments that, oh, here comes Mr. Millionaire and all this other kind of stuff, right? This is sometimes part of what you have to go through. So again, so get into action, write down the goals, do those kind of things. Now, I want to kind of go back and just kind of reaffirm also, since we're at the beginning of a month, of what our vision is as a company. In fact, I'm going to change up the slide. That my opening slide of the slideshow should really just always reaffirm our company. Our vision is to help people travel for less, to help people travel for free, and to show people how they can earn money sitting on the beach off their digital device 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, somebody say, no, Todd, 5 days a week. Well, Forex is 5 days a week, but the crypto markets are 7 days a week. And if you guys haven't noticed, that there's more and more crypto signals coming out all the time. And so again, that is our goal. And that should be the opening of my slideshow. In fact, I'm going to change that. That should be the opening slide. We want to welcome you to the Trevorian presentation. Our company is here to help you travel for pennies, to help you travel for free, and to show you how to earn money sitting on the beach. If neither of those three appeal to you, you can hang up now. You can get off the Zoom now. Don't even waste your time. If either of those three appeal to you, buckle up, because you're about to see something extraordinary. That should be the opening of our presentation. In fact, I'll probably record that. I was listening to something the other day, and I'm like, man, I need to kind of make that our opening slide. State our opening case. Well, I'm taking a little bit further here. When you see the slide that's on here, we call it the part-time millionaire. And it's truly, most of you are doing our business part-time. And so you can go out there and you can, do the travel business and earn. You can actually do the trading side and earn. You can build a team and earn. You can travel, trade, and earn even more. And then you can invest those profits into cryptocurrencies. You can invest those profits into the Forex market, and you can build wealth. In fact, if you simply took $5 a day and invested it with, the law of 72 compound interest over time, that's going to make you a millionaire. Becoming a millionaire is not a difficult thing to do if you simply invest $5 a day. Give up Starbucks. Someone could literally give up Starbucks. Take all that money they spend on Starbucks every day, put it in an investment account, and, sometime later, you are going to be a millionaire. It's going to take a few decades, right? But you will become a millionaire with the law of compounding interest. If you want to accelerate that, well, then do $10 a day. And so for like $10 a day, that's $300 a month. Where am I going to get $300 a month? Well, you can become a one-star director, right? In fact, you don't have to become a one-star director. because of tax advantages. And again, get with your own tax professionals. A lot of you might be doing your taxes, like I am right now. And so, you could get together with your own tax professional, and you can write off your house, spouse, kids, meals, travel, entertainment. And if you simply work your business with an intention for a profit, according to Sandy Bakken, one of the top tax attorneys in the country, you can save on an average $3,000 to $5,000 per year in taxes. Invest that money. Have a home business, run it with an intention for a profit. With the tax savings alone, if you simply took that money and invested it, that, right, would make you a millionaire. Or you could also become a one-star director. Now, maybe you're doing both. And by becoming a one-star director, you're making $10 a day, you can invest that. Or you can become a one-star director making $10 a day. You take your $10 a day, you put that in the Forex marketplace, you put that in the cryptocurrencies, and now you got your money making you money. And the next thing you know, you're compounding that. There's a lot of ways to become a millionaire, and you're doing it part-time. Now, that does kind of lead us into today's subject, because today's subject, what we're here to talk about, is how lucky NFL players are, right? NFL players are so lucky. Now, before we even go there, okay, you have to understand that I am a diehard Chicago Bears fan. I got my Chicago Bears cup. I got this Chicago Bears cup, right? I got Chicago Bears everything. Anyone that knows me, I'm a diehard Bears. I grew up watching Walter Payton. I grew up in Champaign, Illinois. A lot of people don't know that George Halas, right? So if you ever see the jerseys, they have the GSH on the side right here. It says GSH, that stands for George Halas. And George Halas went to the University of Illinois. Well, that's the college that's in the same town where I grew up. So I grew up in Champaign, Illinois. So I'm a diehard Fighting Illini, Chicago Bears, Chicago Cubs, Chicago Bulls, Chicago Blackhawks kind of guy, right? And so George Halas, who again went to the University of Illinois, helped kind of found the NFL, one of the original 5 founders of the National Football League. And of course, he made his pro team orange and blue because that was the colors of his college team. And a lot of people who are huge Chicago Bears fans don't even know that. And so you guys know something about the Bears that a lot of people don't know. Now, more importantly, in our 102-year history of the NFL, we have never had a quarterback, ever. We have got the most unlucky in that position in our entire history, 102 years. Some people say, no, you guys won the Super Bowl. What about that Jim McMahon guy? He was there for like 1 year. He was an injury case. He wasn't even that good. It was really Walter Payton of the defense that won the Super Bowl. We have never, ever had a quarterback, and that may have changed this weekend. And so, for the Bear faithful out there, right, or the football faithful, you might know what I'm referring to. Even if you're just an observer of the game, then we may actually break the 102-year curse and have a quarterback. That could possibly happen. And so when you look at it, when we go out and win games, we do it, because we can pound the rock and we can play defense, right? We just never had a quarterback. And of course, that's the most important position in this league. So, okay, put that to the side. Now, let's talk about how lucky the NFL players are, because again, we're watching these kids get drafted. Kids grow up dreaming of playing in the NFL. We hear people all the time, oh, look at all those NFL players making all that money. Number one, I want to let you guys know they deserve every freaking penny, okay? Because number one, these kids, right, that are getting drafted into the NFL, they have been paying the price since they were young. Since they were 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old. Okay, they have been in the weight room. They've been running, stretching. They have a special diet. They have to maintain a certain weight. They have to, do 2-a-days, 3-a-days. You ever played football, right? We're talking the dog days of summer. In the middle of summer, you're getting ready for football season. Come August, right? Coach says, hey, we're having 2-a-days, 3-a-days, and it's still 100-something degrees out, right? And you got guys throwing up over there on the sidelines, from after running the sprints and all that kind of stuff, right? And guys passing out from heat exhaustion, all that. It's rigorous, right? You got to go to practice 5 days a week. And keep in mind, you're in school. So you go to school like every other kid goes home and, hey, let's do this, let's do that. You're like, oh, I got to go to football practice, right? So when school's done, you got to go down there. Number one, you got to put on all the pads, open up the locker, get all the pads and all that kind of stuff on. Then you got to go out there and you got to run all the sprints and do the push-ups and do the stretches. And then you're doing the drills where guys are colliding into each other, right? And of course, you get banged up and bruised and all this other kind of stuff. And you got coaches yelling at you, "Come on, Strand, where's the effort?" Right? And so coaches screaming at you and all that type of stuff, right? And, lift your knees and this and that. And, and sometimes you get some guys kind of getting into it out there. And when this is all done, you got to go take all those pads off. Of course, you stink, right? Now you got to take a shower and, you're tired and you're hungry. Then you go home like, oh my gosh, I need to eat something. Oh, wait a minute. I got homework. I got a test tomorrow, right? And you're doing this 5 days a week plus, school day, right? You're giving up social events and activities. And, a lot of these guys, their number one interest is, should be the Lord, but it's probably girls. You're giving up a lot of, time doing that kind of stuff, right? You can't do this, you can't do that because of game day, or you get in trouble and curfews. All these other kind of things. You have injuries. You're in an ice bath, a hot tub. You've got trainers, and the trainers that are just trying to get you healthy and tape you up, just so you can get on the field. Well, I want to play. Yeah, well, your fingers are pointing 3 different directions. Well, can you tape that up for me? So you're getting all taped up. You're having to sometimes hire special coaches, special trainers, people to help you with agility, people to help you with speed training. If you're a quarterback, you're hiring a quarterback coach for throwing and game film. If you're some other kind of position, you're hiring a strength coach. Outside of all this other kind of stuff, right? And so, these kids have been doing this since they were 6 years old. Now, I can just from personal experience. My nephew plays football, Thomas, and in high school, he was in high school just 2 years ago. He was playing in a game, and he tackled a guy, and next thing you know, he broke his leg where his foot was pointing the wrong direction. I'm not trying to. I don't know how about putting a picture on here, but when you see it, it's pretty grotesque. And so, his foot was pointing the wrong direction. He snapped it. And so they, obviously the ambulance had to come, and they take him to the hospital. They had to do a surgery, and they had to put, a bolt or, some metal in there. And it took him a year to rehab. He did get a scholarship. I shouldn't say scholarship. He got a little money to go play at a small college in North Dakota. So he's playing football there. Of course, he had a red shirt his first year. Of course, he's trying to gain weight. He's living in the weight room and doing all these other kind of things, right? Just, hoping to try to get some PT play time, while he's there at college. So he's paying the price. My own daughter, she played, college softball. Some of you may know this. If you ever look at my background, you can see some of the softballs that are behind me. I like to keep one on my desk right here. She actually set the home run record at her college with this particular ball right here. So you can see where it says record there on the ball. Actually wrote record. So that was the ball she set the home run record at her college with, right? Well, part of that, right? They had a very strict diet. They couldn't eat certain things. You couldn't drink soda. You couldn't drink this or that. Here you are, freshman in college, right? And they've got this unbelievable strict regime. You got to be in the weight room early in the morning. We are at practice afterwards. We tell you what you can eat, when you can eat, how much you can eat. You have to hydrate. You have to come in and see the trainer while she's doing all this. One point, she actually tears her ACL. Okay, so now she has to go have surgery. Now she's living on crutches. Then after a year of doing that, you're back in the weight room trying to get back to where you were and rehabilitate just so you can get back out there on the field. Now, this is just softball, right? I'm just trying to paint a picture of how hard some of these kids that are so lucky, right, are. They have paid a price. Now, let's take a look at some of the numbers. Ages between 6 and 12, you got 2.6 million kids that play football, whether it be flag football or tackle football. 2.6 million kids dream of playing football. Now, between ages 14 and 18, you have 1.1 million kids playing high school football. Now, they also dream, you're paying the price. Everything I've been talking about, right? My cousin or my nephew Thomas, foot pointing the wrong direction. That happened in high school, okay? At this point, if you're playing high school football, varsity football, you've already been playing for years. You've already been doing all this stuff I've been talking about, giving up all these sacrifices and injured and taped up and, and all that, but this whole kind of condition I'm describing. And of those 1.1 million kids, only 73,000 will make it on to play football in college. My nephew Thomas is now one of them. Okay, so of the 1.1 million, only 73,000 get to go to the next level and play. Now, keep in mind, these kids have never gotten paid. They've never gotten paid a dime. Okay, they've been playing football since they were 6 years old, doing everything I'm describing, and they've never collected a single dime, not even a chance of collecting a dime. Now you're in college, 73,000, where it only gets even more serious, right? This is where they actually monitor you. This is when they tell you, you will be here at 6 a.m. You will be in study hall at 8 a.m. You will not eat this. You will not drink that. And we will be checking. You will check your weight every day. We'll be doing this and this and this. I mean, and in addition to that, you will maintain grades or you're off the team. It's like, you're almost like, hey, please kick me off the team. At some point, hey, you know what? Kick me off the team, right? My life would be so much easier, right? These kids go through unbelievable rigorous. Now, of the 73,712 kids that are doing everything that I'm describing, they're in the weight room, twice a day and 3 a days and maintaining weight and giving up social and going to school, never made a dime. Only 224 of them. So we went from 2.6 million kids dreaming of playing football, ages 6 to 12, to 1.1 million that are playing in high school, to 73,000 that are playing in college, never collected a dime, to the 224 out of the original 2.6 million that are getting drafted this weekend. 224. That's 17 years of rigorous, tiring, bone-aching schedule without any compensation. They'll never collect $1. And 224 are finally now going to finally get paid for all that effort. They deserve every freaking penny of it. Now, by the way, let's do some more numbers. There happen to be 1,696 NFL players, 53-man roster, 32 teams. Of that, only 22 are really on the field, okay? You got backups, you got special teams. So of that roster, right, only 704 of the 1,696 play on a regular basis, okay? Now, out of that 704, 281 of them will get a concussion, okay? So when I talk about this as tough stuff, 704 play regularly, and almost half of them, not quite, call it, 40%. 40% of them, or 33, however you do your math, are going to get a concussion, a brain injury, okay? Now, of the 704 who play regularly, 477 of them will leave the field with an injury, meaning they have to get off the field. They're so injured, they have to leave the field with an injury. There was a 1990 survey conducted between the NFLPA and Ball State University that found 65% of players had suffered a major injury while playing. A major injury defined as they missed 8 games. Okay. So, this is tough stuff, right? You're playing this thing. You've done all these things just so you can get in the game. And there's a pretty good chance, right? Pretty good chance, 65% chance, by the way, you're going to get so injured, you're not going to be able to play at all for at least 8 games. Okay. And boy, that happens to tons of kids. And my daughter tore an ACL. I'm going to bring in my buddy Ryan here in a moment. He's going to tell you about his son, who's an incredible soccer player, right? But you won't believe the things he had to go through just to play soccer, right? And so, again, these kids are pouring it all out. Now, additionally, roughly 50% of all players retire due to injury. So, here you are doing this thing, and the thing that's going to take you out is I'm so injured, I can't do it anymore. I physically cannot do it anymore. I'm too injured. A follow-up survey found that 47% of them have arthritis. So if you play, right, at a high level, there's a good chance you're going to have some nagging injuries that even when you're done playing are going to be with you for life. Arthritis, brain injuries, aches, pains, all kinds of things, right? By the way, and of course, in particular with the NFL and the head injuries, recently they had 111 deceased NFL players. Their brains were donated to be studied, and they found that 110 of the 111 had the CTE disease that's been plaguing the NFL. This is where guys just, they literally go crazy. They lose it. Their mind just is not right because of the head injuries, the head trauma that happened while they were playing the game. Now, again, let's just talk about how lucky these players are. The average salary in the National Football League is $700,000. Okay. Again, these kids haven't gotten paid. They've been doing this their whole life, never gotten paid. 17 years waiting for this moment. And now they're going to make $700,000. They deserve every penny. They have paid the price. Okay. $700,000. Guess what? Their average career, 2.5 years. 2.5 years. That's their average career. The average lifetime earnings for an NFL player is $1,750,000. Okay. So 17 years of not getting paid, an attempt to be one of the 224 kids drafted out of the 1.1 million playing high school football, the 73,000 playing college football. So most will never collect a dime ever. But of the 224 who are lucky enough to do that, they get 17 years of prep plus the 2.5 years of playing. That gives you 19 and a half years. Take your 1.7 million that you earn divided by 19 and a half years, and your average income is $89,743 a year. That's what it is. And by the way, according to Forbes magazine, 78% of them will go broke because they got into the NFL and they feel like, oh my gosh, look at all this money that's coming in, right? 700,000 came in suddenly. 1.7 million came in a 2.5 year time frame. And they think, well, yeah, I should be driving a Ferrari. I should be living in the beach house. I'm gonna take the whole family out to dinner. What about my mom a car or do this and do that? And next thing you know, your career's over in 2.5 years. And you're like, and you got to pay taxes. And it's like, where'd all my money go? You spent it and you're broke. 78% chance you are going broke. That's how lucky these guys are. Now, again, I'm putting this in context, and I know for our international audience, maybe football is not quite as big over there for our United States audience. I think you guys know how big the NFL is, the stadiums are packed, and how these players are revered, and that kind of a thing, right? And so I'm trying to just put this whole thing in context. Now, what if you, by the way, put in even a fraction of the effort that these kids have put in? I mean, no one's asking you to play hurt. I mean, around here, playing hurt is you got a hammy. Oh, Todd, I can't be on the Zoom. I twisted my ankle. What? You could be on the Zoom. I mean, you could be on the Zoom anywhere. You got Darryl Maria probably on the Zoom right now at a ball game watching Aaron play. He's probably over there, got his headset on, listening to me like, all right, Aaron, great pitch out there. Oh, man, Todd's really laying it down today. He's at a football game. I mean, a baseball game. Eating a popcorn, eating a hot dog, listening to the call. That's how tough this stuff is, right? And so, again, you can play this game of direct selling at any age. Jimmy Smith was 72 years old when he got started. In fact, he was too injured to be a butcher anymore. Imagine that. He had some back issues, some leg issues. And of course, as a butcher, you're on your feet. So he was too injured to do his full career of being a butcher, right? Cutting meat, right? So he got into network marketing. Best thing that ever happened to him because he started at age 72. He since then made 61 million with a company. They're friends of ours. In fact, my buddy Ryan, David Hart, and I. I mean, we know the owners of this company pretty well. We've hung out with them and done meetings for them, and we've been known for 20 years. And they own a company where their top earners made 61 million. In the last 20 years. In fact, Jimmy's now in his 90s, still getting paid. Some point he'll get light beamed off the planet, but that money's going to keep coming in week after week, month after month. Does that happen in the NFL? No. You tear your ACL, sorry, your career's over. No. I spent 19 years preparing for this moment. My career can't be over just because I had bad luck of an ACL. Sorry, kid, don't know what to tell you. Your career's over. There's no more money for you. Bye. That's not how it works in our space. What if you took 1/10 the amount of time, effort, energy? I mean, go back, man. These kids' special diet, weight room, 2-a-days, 3-a-days, hiring coaches, reading books, technique, out there getting bruised, battered, just dying to get back on the field. Put me in, coach, tape me up. I mean, where's the spirit? And if you do that in our space, right? Let's take a look at some of the earnings, by the way. I pulled this up just this morning. This is the current earnings. You got Igor here making 1.8 million a month, 21 million a year. By the way, David Eminetti, he's doing 4X. The guy down there at the very bottom of the list that's, barely getting by on 865,000 a month, right? I mean, having trouble, getting through the winter, he's making 10 million a year. Right. And so and these people, they'll be earning that money year after year. Tom Brady, the guy that some people focus on because he's been in the NFL 21 years, never happened before. It's an anomaly. It's an aberration. No one's ever done that. Most careers never go that long. I mean, he is the freak of nature, right? But his career will soon be over in 2 years. He's only making 30 million a year. I mean, he will not make the money that Igor right here is making. He will not make the money that obviously David Eminetti's making. He will not make the money that Dexter Yeager made. You can make more money in our space. and you don't have to get a concussion. You don't have to get arthritis. You don't have to have broken bones. You don't have to then, by the way, squat 1,000 pounds, bench 500 pounds, run 4.2 40-yard dash, right? You don't have to do all that. You don't have to be 6'6" and have the right length of arms and be able to block the other 350 pounders and all. I mean, you don't have to do all of that. All you have to do is bring a little want, need, and desire, bring a little effort to the table, and you can go out there and do some incredible things. By the way, I mean, we got, just this year, we got people that make more money than the NFL players just in the cryptocurrency markets. I mean, just what's happening there alone in cryptocurrency. There's more money here at, Trevorian. Trading, just trading. Forget about earning and building down. Just trading. There's more money here than there is in the National Football League, right? So number one, these kids are not lucky. They've worked their asses off to get to this moment. They deserve every penny they get. But compare that profession to what it is we are doing, and it is not even close, which raises the question, would you rather be drafted into the National Football League, or would you rather be drafted into Trevorian? Would you rather be drafted into this company? Someone says, man, that person, man, I'm so excited about them. I want to draft them onto my team. I want to start a brand new team working with them. Now, what I want to do real quick is I want to check, see if I got my buddy Ryan on here. I know he may or may not be able to hop on. I didn't know if I was going to have him or not. I'm checking. I don't think I have him. Yeah, he was going to try to hop on because obviously his son played soccer and, just kind of elaborate on this whole thing, kind of this whole subject that we're talking about here. But anyway, I think I kind of made the point here, as far as, the way this goes. Now, what I want to do real quick is I want to see if I can pull up a video. So hold on real quick. Me and Darryl shot a video and I had it. The question is, can I pull that video up? So I'm going to go off screen here for a second. I'm going to see if I can go back and pull this video up. It's a video that me and Darryl shot at the home office. Let me go back over here to Zoom. Okay, we go to recordings. All right, so here we go. I found the video. Gotta come back over, grab you guys. Click on share screen, click on share computer sound, click on the video, click on share. There we go. So you guys should be able to see that on the screen now. See if I can make it full screen. All right. Now, this is a video that me and Darryl shot the other day. And so I'm going to let you guys watch this. It's an incredible video. I had a lot of fun shooting it with Darryl. He was at the home office. And so I'm going to let you guys watch this. It's an important point about our business. It's just so important. We're actually going to try to get it archived to the back office or maybe reshoot this again. We're having some fun. But when the video is done, we will be done with our training call. I just want to encourage you guys, by the way, again, tomorrow night, we got Pastor Mel Keys. He's going to be hosting the fireside chat tomorrow night. Definitely show up and support him. He's an absolutely incredible speaker, incredible presenter, incredible trainer. Don't let the day end without telling a few people about Trevorian. And with that, here is the training that me and Darryl shot just the other day.
Or good evening. Hey, I'm Darryl Roberts, and right next to me is
Todd Strand.
Guys, we're at the corporate office here in Temecula, California, Trevorian corporate office. And Todd and I have been
we're like in a back room here, like in a little utility room.
Exactly.
They came in the very back of the building, and like they got like all the servers and all the cords,
routers,
routers, and all that stuff's running through here. So we're in the back office. We've got a little desk and said, hey, let's go back and record some things.
And that's why we're here. We were talking earlier today with Dave and Maria and some of the other folks in the office. And, what makes the business work? What makes the business not work? Why do people get, caught up on, hey, what somebody else says? In other words, Todd, I'm going to ask you this question. Why do some people go out and they talk to one or two or three people, and because the response is negative, or the person says, what are you doing? Or they hold up the cross, or whatever the case may be. And the next thing, the person that shared the information with them, we don't see that person anymore. What is the big challenge there?
Yeah, I think there's a disconnect at a couple different levels. One is obviously you go back to the education system. A lot of people were taught, hey, go to school, go to college, get a job.
Yeah.
And so they have this mentality of a job. They have this mentality of that's what's traditional, that's what's acceptable, and anything else is just it seems like it's outside the box.
Right.
But yet, can you think of anyone that's ever gotten ahead and became financially independent or living the life you want to live from a job? No. Why would you do that? I don't know. I just never thought about it. Right. So for some people, it's just they have that old frame of mind, that old mindset. And then for other people, it's because they don't necessarily have the why.
Right.
They're not necessarily clear on what it is they want out of life.
Right.
And it's like that poem you read all the time. I mean, you know, I bargained for $1, right?
Yeah, bargained life for a penny, and life would pay no more. And I begged that evening when I counted my scanty store. I've said that a lot. It's amazing how that just came back
rolls
up.
off your tongue, right? And so I think for other people, they don't have that why. And so for so many people that join our kind of an industry, I mean, they get in and, you know, I can tell you right now, if 100 people joined your team today, 50% of them will be gone tomorrow. Yeah. Now, they may not physically quit the business, but they're mentally already have quit. Someone gave them a hard time. Someone like, you did what? You're getting into what? You're doing what? I mean, one person suddenly, it's just this thing. Suddenly they just talk themselves out of it. And there's a great quote from the great Jim Rohn. Yeah. And, you know, Mr. Rohn used to say, don't worry about the thief in the alley after your wallet. I mean, what do you got in your wallet? A couple $100, $100, $60, right? Some of you are like, man, like $5, right? I mean, who cares? Oh, wow, they got a couple of $100. You know, so don't worry about the thief in the alley after your wallet, but worry about the thief in your mind after your promise. Because if you give up on the entrepreneurial vision, if you give up on the entrepreneurial dream, I mean, you're giving up on a multiple six-figure year lifestyle. You're giving up on the ability to do what you want, when you want, with whom you want, any freaking time you want, right? That is the promise. That is the vision. And the Bible says, without vision, the people perish. And most people, they don't have a vision or even an understanding of how to get there. So, Darryl, maybe you want to talk about the slide we have up on the screen, but I think that sometimes if you go back to why Trevorium, why network marketing, why are we doing this versus everything else out there? When you really kind of grab that sense, then I think you get a little more locked in, like, whoa, you know, this is one of the last real, you know, bastions of free enterprise that I can grab onto that can take me to the promised land.
Well, absolutely. And before I hit that, just want to make sure if you're brand new and you're getting this, or if you've even been around the block with us for a little bit, we want you to understand. In other words, you know, with a lot of inoculations that are going on out there with the COVID, we want to inoculate you about this scenario that Todd and I are speaking about, is that's going to happen to you. So we want you to know up front, that's the type of response you're going to get, because most people are conditioned to be in the situation Todd just explained. You go to work for somebody else, as long as you get Blue Cross Blue Shield, as long as you get your paycheck every couple of weeks or whatever you get your paycheck, most people fall into that comfortable, you know, that arena where, you know, hey, stepping outside that box make all the difference in the world. So if you've made a decision to get started with us, you've made a decision, you want to do something big, don't let the people that say no stop you from reaching your dreams and objective. It's going to happen. So when somebody says no, or this is that, say, hey, those two guys on that video told me that you were right around the corner and you were going to hit me upside the head. So I'm not going to let it affect me. And you continue to do what you need to do until you get to the level you want to get to. Now, talking about this slide right here, when you take a look at this slide right here, most people in America are on the right side of this slide, or on the left side of this slide. Most people have a job. In other words, you work for a living, and there's nothing wrong with that if you're just looking at paying your bills and, you know, putting a roof over your head. But if you're trying to become financially independent, it's not going to happen from the left side. Again, you're trading time for money. There's no leverage there. In other words, you work 8 hours, you get paid for 8 hours. You don't work, you don't get paid. You get sick, hurt, injured, or laid off, where your check gets sick, hurt, injured, or laid off. It's a risky way to make a living. Even if you are self-employed and you're a dentist or you're a barber, you still have a job that you must be at. And if you can't attend those jobs, well, ladies and gentlemen, your income absolutely stops. Even at those barbers and salons and those type of self-employed businesses, you still are working 80 hours. Even if you do make couple $100,000 a year, you have no time to spend it, because if you take off, there's no money being made. And that's one of the tragedies there. But Todd, we want to get everybody on the other side of the ledger. And what's so powerful about this, and why should everybody think about being on this side?
Yeah. And boy, just so you guys know, I mean, this chart wasn't put together by Darryl and I. This chart was put together by Robert Kiyosaki. He is the author of the best-selling financial books of our era.
Wow.
He's got multiple best-selling financial books, and he just does an incredible job of outlining, the problem with the economic situation in America. And it's because most people have been taught that the job is the end all, but it's not. A job is where you start. That is not where you want to finish. Your goal is to get to a place where you got your money making you money, or you've got a business that's making you money, or ideally both. Now, this is where you could get light beamed off the planet, heaven forbid, right? One day we all will. No one's getting out of this thing alive, okay? Hopefully that's 100 years from now. But at some point when it's your time to get called home, okay, you want to have created in this lifetime income, your money making you money, or a business that's making you money, that even though you're no longer here, no longer alive, that business continues to pump money like an oil well every single week, every single month, to whoever you leave it to, or your family, your friends, your charity, whatever it might be. That is the goal. That is how you get ahead financially. And for whatever reason, they just don't teach that in school. And then you go back to what Darryl mentioned a moment ago, why some people get knocked out. Well, a lot of times, you're listening to people that, aren't successful. They don't know any better. I mean, they kind of regurgitating what they heard. I mean, they work the same place you do. They're maybe, just as struggling to get by, just ahead of the creditors, right? Just, let me put it more plainly, just as broke as you are, right? A lot of, not that you're broke, but you know what I mean? I mean, I feel like, man, I'm running on the treadmill as hard as I can, just trying to keep ahead of the creditors. And, a lot of people around you are probably in that same situation. They were never taught how to really get ahead financially. And there are books you can buy. For example, you can buy the book Think and Grow Rich. This was written by Napoleon Hill. He went out and spent 20 years, not 3 years, not 7 years, 20 years with the 500 richest people on the planet. And he said, hey, you know what? Here are the things they all have in common. Here are the things they all do. If you do the same thing, you get the same success. He also said, here's the number one thing they all say is going to take you out. The number one thing that's going to keep you from hitting your promise, from entering the promised land, is listening to friends and family, people that might mean well, but they were never trained how to succeed. They were never trained how to make money. So they're going to start sharing some opinions that are maybe derogatory. You might walk into work and, oh, here comes Mr. Millionaire. I mean, they start kind of like taking little chip shots at you.
Ridicule you.
Yeah, ridicule you, that kind of thing. And understand that big people never criticize big ideas. If you work for some company, I'm going to give you an analogy. Let's say that you work at the automotive plant and you're out there on the factory floor with all the other guys. You say, you know what? One day I'm going to be a vice president here. Oh, Mr. Vice President, right? They're going to start teasing you and deriding you and all that kind of stuff. But if you started taking night classes and learning everything about manufacturing, automotive, you had your heart set on getting a business degree, and you went and visited the vice president of that organization, said, man, I'm going to school, I'm taking classes, I'm learning everything there is to know about the plant from the floor perspective, and one day I'm going to be an executive at this firm. You know what that vice president is going to say? You can do it. In fact, you know what? I got some people I want to introduce you to, because just for having that attitude, for having that kind of mindset, I want to fast track you through our organization. We're looking for people that want to, bring that level of presence to the company.
Exactly.
Big people don't criticize big ideas. And when you look at direct selling, it is a very big idea. It's $1 trillion trend. People looking for ways to make money from home. It's a trend that can give you lifestyle. And, you and Maria, in fact, you guys are here in California. You've been traveling everywhere.
We just came from Berkeley.
Watching your son play baseball.
Exactly.
You came down to play some golf with Dave Hart tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
These guys, they're like jet setters, right? They just have to jet in, right? And so,
and we're doing trainings, we're doing phone calls, we're working with the team. We've got things set up for the youth. So we're working, but it's a lifestyle, and that's the lifestyle.
And so, and you guys have been doing this for 30 years. And, back when I met you guys back in 98, you guys had a business that was almost paying you $1 million a year back then, right? And you were knocking on that door. You've been executives in this industry. You've been around.
And so I guess maybe kind of from your perspective about the lifestyle and what you see here with Travoyant.
Well, and Todd, it goes back to why we did this training here. We heard a lot of no's in the beginning, and had not the trainer, our mentor, my mentor initially in the beginning, had not told us what we were going to run into, I may not be here. But he told me I was going to run into a bunch of no's. He said, prepare to hear the word no. And he said it just like that, maybe more emphatically. But it's by me knowing that and going through that maturation process, you know, we're here today doing things that only people actually dream of. And we can work our business anywhere we want to work it. And as long as we've got a phone and we've got competent people that we're working with, such as my buddy right here, Todd and Dave and the rest of the people at the office, and an amazing service that does what it's supposed to do every single time, and a educational platform that can create an additional profit center for anybody that's willing to put the time and effort into it. And when you do that, it'll happen for you. But Todd, we're blessed to be a part of this company. Still, even a 9-year-old company, very few people still know who we are as a company. So
we're a baby.
We're a baby comparative to where we will and can be another 5-10 more years from now. So if you are in the right place at the right time, if you're signed up, guys, just take it serious. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, there's going to be struggles, there's going to be people that get in and get out, there's people that are going to tell you no. But if you have goals and vision and you understand this slide that Todd and I just spoke about, that's the journey of every successful person out there, from Jobs at Apple to Bill Gates at Microsoft. They all go through this. It's not supposed to be, well, I sign up and 2 minutes later, you know, Todd tells you the story and the situation we're in right now, but you should have seen us when we first started. It was tough. I could have quit a million different times. I'm sure you could have as well. But because we had the tenacity, because we had vision, we talked to the big people. Literally, when Todd was saying that, I was thinking about some of the presidents and CEOs of companies in direct sales and network marketing that I actually went to and asked questions to, and those people were very open and giving advice, et cetera, and encouragement. And that's exactly right. So get together with the people that are serious, and you can definitely do some amazing things with this company while you're traveling and learning an education that will last a lifetime.
Yeah, and I would say, if not us, then who? And if not now, then when, right? And sometimes when you think about this in the context of what is my alternative to doing this? What is my alternative? I mean, can you get rich doing what you're doing? I mean, if you want to know where you're going to be 5 years from now, simply look at someone who's been doing what you're doing 5 years longer. And you're going to find out, wow, they're in the same place I am, right? You start to look at your options. Hey, can I go get my own business started? It takes major capital. Like I said, of every 100 traditional businesses that get started, 10 years from now, only 4 will exist. Didn't say 4 were thriving, said only 4 will even exist. Wow. Well, maybe I can go get one of those franchises. Well, less than 51% of the franchises, you can make 50 grand a year. Of you cost $250,000 to get a Subway going, 1,800 of them went out of business last year. And of the ones that did do well, wow, they made 43 grand. That's no money. And so you start going down the aisle. Well, so I can't quit my job. I got bills, responsibilities. I mean, if not us, then what? Yeah. And when you realize, wow, I mean, this is really my best chance to get started with something part-time. It only costs, a few $100s to get started. I can go get 3 and have the whole thing be free. Yeah. I can do it part-time. My worst case scenarios, I'm going on some unbelievable vacations, or I'm trading and making some money in cryptocurrencies, right? I'm tapping into all kinds of tax write-offs. I'm saving thousands on my taxes, and I'm learning a skill set. I'm growing as a person. I'm, learning some language skills and some right mindsets and work habits. And over time, you tell a few who tell a few, and next thing you know, you're going to have this stream of income that's coming in. And before long, you're going to be the envy of all those friends that are making comments today. And you're going to have some of them come back and say, man, why didn't you tell me? I did. Remember, I know, but you didn't really tell me. You should have slapped me. And you will have friends tell you that, right? Just know that you are going to get the last laugh if you stay the course. So any final thoughts?
Well, Todd and I definitely want each and every one of you to get to the right side of the ledger on the slide that you're looking at, the 5%. You can definitely do it. It's going to take some time, it's going to take some work, but there's no debating it. If we can do it, anybody can do it. When I first started, I had a huge lisp, And I overcame that to become a speaker, a trainer, and articulate information. And it just depends on what you want. You can do anything in life that you really want. If you really want this bad enough to be able to live the lifestyle and do the things that we're able to do, there's no question about it. Choice or decision. Have you made a choice to try the business, or have you made a decision to become successful in it? Your destiny lies within your answer.
And some people say, Darryl, could it really be that easy? And it's even in the Bible. And the Bible says, I set before you blessings and curses. I set before you prosperity and disaster. Choose. It's always about choice. And you make that choice with your actions every single day. And you can choose to do the small, simple things that appear to make no difference at all, repeated over time, leads you to the promised land, or a few small errors in judgment repeated over time will leave you out in the financial boneyard of the desert where you will choke on the dust of your own regrets. So with that, that's a little Jim Rohn there for you, brother. That just came out, man. Woo. That's how you know I've listened to the audio. I've never said that before. Wow. You know I've listened to the audio. That just came out.
That's what it's all about, guys. All right.
All right, guys. Hey, we appreciate all of you. I hope you guys get some value from this training. We'll see you guys at the beach and at the bank. God bless. Bye, everybody.